That's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. But that's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Oh, wow!
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation under... Oh, wait. Hold on. What? He folded in less than 12 hours? Oh, Canada.
Oh, boy.
Our home and native land. Yep.
Yeah. If you want
I
to get
never...
Politico right away.
I just never want to hear anyone ever say, what does it matter to you? You're Canadian. It shouldn't matter who the president of the United States is. It's because of stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Turning my country into freaking chaos for like 24 hours. Well, a little longer than that, but a week.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can hit them right back.
We did.
Yeah.
What did they? I was watching one video and the guy was like, "Yeah, we just because basically all we promised them back for this tariff bullshit is stuff that we already planned on doing back in December. It was all stuff that we committed. Yeah, we're going to send. We're going to have more, security, better security at the border. The only extra thing we gave them was this fentanyl czar that was completely made up. I mean, that just totally sounds like something you would make up to appease a guy like Trump. So funny. And it's you're dealing with a bully, right? So what do? You don't back a bully into a corner and don't give it, like, you got to give him an out, right? So that's basically what they did. They just said, oh, we'll give him a little bit of an out so he can save face and he'll go away. And the very next day he went to go pick on Israel and the Gaza and left us alone. It was nice. It's just beautiful.
It's just the way things go.
Yeah.
You apply your high school experiences to the real world.
High school. This is like...
Are you talking about elementary school?
Elementary
bullies?
school. Yeah. We got Deke here saying hello. And he'd buy my version of Canada from iTunes if it was available. Well, hit me up. They're major record labels. Are they still important? Do I have to self-publish? I don't know how anything works anymore. Well, Richard's just waking up. This is good.
I'm here. I'm pretty good.
I got a lot more stuff to talk about than just politics. That was it. That was just going to be my little... I've been sitting on that one for a few days.
I'm sure you have.
Just
well, it's got to get your blood boiling a little bit.
Well, I mean, it was just annoying. Like we're now having to check our labels to see where products are being made or manufactured from, because you don't want to support anything that you don't agree with. So we're double checking, make sure things are made in Canada or not made in the USA. It's ridiculous.
Are you going to put a tariff on me for being here?
No, you're from Japan. You're cool.
All right. Oh,
any Americans in the chat,
nice.
though? Any Americans in the chat? That's 25 cents every comment. So
every comment.
Yeah. And then if you want to be on the show, that's at least $1.48. I don't know, depending on the HSP.
Have your passports ready.
Yeah. It's just hilarious how the whole situation. He's all like, hey, if Canada, if you just become part of the United States, all this tariff problem goes away.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean the tariff problem you are creating will go away that you just made up? It goes away? That's awesome.
They provided a solution.
It was just like, Canada, why you keep hitting yourself on a global scale? All right, that's it. That's enough about politics. Let's talk about...
I got one more politics. What's going on with your boy Trudeau there? Because he's stepping down, right?
Yeah, it's well, for me, it's unfortunate. I don't hate Trudeau. I don't understand. Like, there is a lot of legit criticism that he definitely, needs to wear. There's a few scandals, especially the SNC Lavalin scandal, where he just kind of turned and told his party to turn a blind eye towards a company that was taking money from outside Canada to I think it was I can't exactly remember what it's for, but anyways, it was a bad deal. It wasn't good. But a lot of it is just rhetoric from right-wing media. They just don't like him because he's the pronoun guy, that he, she, they, them, stuff that they don't like. They blame a lot of things on him. There is we have a carbon tax here in Canada. Basically, when he was elected, he was going to reduce Canada's carbon emissions.
Right.
And everyone's like, yeah, reduce our carbon emissions. We want to be ahead of the curve. We want to be like, part of the movement that is for stopping humans inflicting climate change on the globe. So he put in the carbon tax, and then everything gets blamed on the carbon tax, whether it makes sense or it doesn't. Like inflation, the prices of things, whatever it is, it's all people's price of gas. They all just blame it on the carbon tax, and it's like, well, all this stuff is a global phenomenon. It's not, something that's just restricted to just Canada. And the carbon tax in of itself is a good idea. It's just the messaging behind it was bad. Is basically a cheap way for Canadians to reduce carbon emissions. So they put a tax. So gas is more expensive, right? When you go to the pump and you want to buy gas, it's going to cost you more. That's because they put this tax on it. So it's something to make you think about, well, maybe instead of driving somewhere, I will take another mode of transportation. I'll ride my bike. I will walk.
Right.
I will, use transit. And then we get rebates for that, right? So it was, yeah, sure, the tax is there, but you also get a rebate. Now, the rebates weren't always fair for everyone because they didn't take into consideration how much gas you're using. If you didn't use any, like if you lived in downtown Toronto and you took the subway everywhere, you might not even own a car or whatever. You're still getting a rebate, even though you haven't spent any money on gas. Whereas other people who rely on the automobile to get back and forth to work and spend a lot of money on gas, yeah, they're paying more at the pump, and the rebate that they're getting isn't as much. But again, it's a really cheap way to cut down emissions. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to put any new infrastructure in. You don't have to regulate anything. You just raise the price of gas, and people do make a decision to whether, or even like buying an electric vehicle or whatever it is that, it's made to make you think before you just blindly go and make a purchase for a big SUV that guzzles gas, or take a big trip out to somewhere, or take two vehicles somewhere, or buy a big trailer to haul stuff or whatever. That's what it was designed to do. And it was effective, but people it just became a scapegoat, as everything that was happening in Canada, it was because of the carbon tax. And Trudeau had to wear it. The problem is the messaging wasn't there. People weren't getting the idea, and the carbon tax became political poison, where even the people who are trying to run for the Liberal Party after Trudeau exits and are going to take over, they're even saying that they're going to scrap this carbon tax. They're not going to keep it because it's just political poison. And because that was political poison, that was Trudeau's thing, Trudeau himself became political poison. And he knew that he could not, get the Liberal Party back in power again. There's going to be another election coming up within the year. And he didn't want to wait like Biden did. Biden waited too long, and they put Kamala in too late. So he was just like, you know what? I'm going to do the right thing now, and I'm going to step down now before, to at least give my party a chance to, come back. And a lot of the people in the party have been distancing themselves from Trudeau. Like the guy I like is Mark Carney. He was he basically ran the bank system in Canada, and he got us through the 2008 crisis. And then he went to England and he did the same job. I think he's governor of the banks or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but he went over to England and he got them through Brexit, and he got them through the pandemic. So he's coming back to Canada, and he's running as sort of like an independent, but also he's running for the leadership of the Liberal Party, which was Trudeau's party. And he said even if he doesn't get the leadership, he's going to run as an independent. So I don't know. I'm pegging my hopes on him. I like his stance on climate change and, just wealth equity and all that stuff. So, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yep.
I do like your new YouTube channel direction with the movie reviews, but if you ever revamp it in the future, you could really go the political route and just sit there and on your soapbox and just pound away these videos, because you can just
I don't know. I don't know if I have the energy or the want to do that, because it gets people all riled up, and then you get like all the crazies coming at you,
Yeah, but that'll get you more comments.
It's one thing, like
it'll be people telling you how wrong you are and how much they hate you.
Yeah, and
I'm not interested. Clicks.
Listen. We're doing this YouTube movie thing because it's fun. It's just fun for us, and that's all I want to do it for. It's just for fun. We like watching movies. We want to share. We want to like build like a little community where we could talk to other people about movies, because our circle of friends, I don't think they have the attention span to sit there and watch an entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got them to watch Little Shop of Horrors, and we're not having it. They were like, this is a musical, this is not good, and all that. They like watching bad movies and commenting on bad movies, but to get them to watch like a Citizen Kane or something like that, forget it.
Well, I've kind of given up on watching movies with other people, because I can't tolerate other people's behavior and sitting down to watch a movie. I get it if you're watching a bad movie. That's the whole point. You get a bunch of people around and you're just cracking jokes. But as soon as somebody like pulls out their phone or, has to ask a question or something in the middle of a movie, I can't tolerate if someone doesn't have my level of attachment and enjoyment and just immersion. Sit down, watch the movie, don't say a word. Watch the beginning to end. Don't pause it unless you got to go to the toilet. But that's it.
Yeah, I pretty much come to the same conclusion, because a lot of it. Well, first of all, my buddy Frank, I don't think he could stay awake through an entire movie. He's like a narcolepsy. He just falls asleep right away. And then people go to the bathroom. It's like, do you want me to pause it? No, keep it going. I'm like, are you sure this is like? No, keep going. All right.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, sure, people can enjoy it in their own way, but I prefer to stick with the people who can pay attention. And
well, if we were to watch a movie together, I would sit there and I would watch it. If I had to go to the washroom, I'd ask you to pause it so I could go to the bathroom and then come back and not miss anything, unless the movie sucked, and then I would just tell you, look, this movie sucks. And
oh, sure,
yeah,
you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Speaking
Sauce.
of which,
hello, Sauce.
I got a pile over here. Hey,
wait. Wait, before we get into that, before we get into the movie, I do have a. So with Canada being on the global stage there for a minute, we've kind of done this before, but I wanted to revisit Canadian slang with Richard.
Ooh.
Let's see how much Canadian slang Richard knows or has retained. Oh, okay, what's a toonie? I guess you know what
that's
a toonie is.
A $2 coin, right?
That's right. Do you know why it's called a toonie?
Because you got a loony and a toonie.
What?
One and a two.
Right. So why is the loony called a loony?
There's like a bird on it? A
That's right,
loon?
the loon.
Something like that?
That's right.
Woo!
Yeah,
I'm
look at
batting
you.
1,000 here. Were any
1,000.
of those your questions?
No, but those were good questions.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm warmed up.
Okay. I'll just cross this one off the list. You know this. Toque. It's
I
what
got one
you're
right
wearing
here.
right now. Toque. Yes, it's what you guys would call, I don't know, cap. You call it
A
cap?
beanie, a
Beanie?
knit cap. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay,
what you call it.
this is a tough one. A duotang.
A duotang.
Do you know what a duotang is?
Duotang. Duotang. Is this modern slang? Is this old fashioned?
Oh no. Well, it's been around since I was a kid.
Okay. Can you use it in a sentence without giving it away?
Um
Duo. Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Duotang.
Duo-hyphen-tang.
It is not
Duo
related.
as in two?
I guess, yeah. Is it
And
related to Pootie Tang?
tang.
No.
That was one of the first things that came to mind.
Okay.
Duotang.
If you're going to go to the office, don't forget to bring your duotang.
Oh, it's a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Your duotang. In the office.
Yeah.
Duotang. What do I have around here that a duotang? Is it
There's Sarah's helping you
okay.
out.
Student pulled out their duotang for science class. Oh, it's been around since you were a kid. So I was gonna say, is that what you call like a tablet or something? Because I got a duotang right now.
No.
No,
No. It's been around since I was at least since it's probably been around a lot longer than that. My parents said it, so
Is it like a calculator or a protractor or something like that?
is that your final answer?
Sure.
Okay. No, it is a folder to hold papers in. So it has
Folder
like
to hold papers.
yeah, so it has like a couple little metal clamps inside of it to put through the holes that you would put in a binder. Not like you put your paper in a binder.
Sure.
Same kind of thing, but it's like
Duotang.
it's like in a smaller folder. So it's like not a big. You're not carrying around a big binder with rings in it.
Okay, so it's not like a trapper keeper. It's just like a little file holder. Okay.
Yeah.
A duotang. So if I walk into a Canadian Target or something and say, "Excuse me, I need a duotang,"
Yeah.
somebody will say, "Oh,
they're over there.
right down there.
Go to the office supplies area or school supplies area. That would be right in there. We don't have Target in Canada anymore. It didn't last very long.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. We have Canadian Tire. Sarah says it's like a binder, but the outer part is construction paper type. Yeah, it's like loose. Like
okay, kind of a thin file holder.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Duotang. I gotta write that down. Hang on.
I don't know if that's how you spell it. I mean, Sarah, is that how you spell it, or did you spell it phonetically?
I believe Sarah.
Oh, I didn't put a hyphen in it. Yeah, duotang. Yeah, I guess she's got it.
Right. I'm just gonna use that all day today.
A Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. Is that a cigarette?
No, that's what an American.
I believe Rod Serling advertised Chesterfields.
By the way,
Twilight Zone.
Our Twilight. No, it was. Oh, geez, we just saw it yesterday.
Well, he advertised a few different ones.
Okay. Well,
they changed.
So we're watching the Twilight Zone. We're in season 2, and the Blu-rays, they keep all the little ads that he did. Like when we watched it on television a couple of years ago, we tried to watch it on television, but they cut all that stuff out. But on the Blu-rays, all those little ads are in there, and it's kind of like you're watching him. It's like, oh, this is cool. He's like doing this little ad for the cigarette. But then you're like, yeah, that cigarette's going to kill you in about 15 years. But you need to slow down on that. Okay, Chesterfield. So it's not a cigarette. Any other guess?
Cookie?
It is not a cookie. A Chesterfield is what the Americans would call a sofa.
Really?
Yeah.
Chesterfield.
It's kind of left over from the British. I think the British kind of brought that term over. But
sounds British.
Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta translate these. File, folder. Okay. Grab your duotang and have a seat on the Chesterfield.
Yes. Now you're talking like a
Okay.
Canadian. Okay.
All right. I got this.
Okay. A 2-4.
2-4.
A 2-4.
2x4.
It is not a 2x4.
2-4. 2-4. What would have a 2 and a 4 in it? Two-door 4-wheel drive. Is it a car?
No.
No.
I'll give you a clue. Think Bob and Doug McKenzie.
2-4 like a twofer?
Two?
Like
Two
two for, yeah, 2 for 1 deal.
No. A 2-4. Like TWO/FOUR. 2-4.
2-4.
A 2-4.
2-4.
Bob and
I
Doug
have
McKenzie.
no idea.
Okay, it is a case of 24 beer bottles. 24 beers.
Case of 24 beer bottles. A 2-4.
Yes, 2-4.
2-4. I'll just write lots of beer. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. Give me another one.
I think you might know this one. You might know.
All right.
A freezy.
Freezy.
A
Is this
freezy.
some sort of popsicle?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes.
Hey, look at that.
Basically a frozen treat that's in like a little piece of plastic, and it's like a popsicle without a stick. So it's the same kind of
Right. I think we called them ices.
ices. Yeah, okay. We got them as freezies. Hey, look at that. Dean's
boy,
in here.
those. Oh,
Yep.
hey.
All this is just Canadian. Okay, this might be the last one because I can't figure out what I wrote down here for this other one. But this would be awesome if you got this. An eaves trough.
Eaves trough.
An
Eaves trough.
trough.
Is that the old style urinal that was like a trough?
No.
No. Oh, I'm getting yelled at. No, ices are different.
Jeez. Well,
it's frozen sugar water in a cheap plastic tube.
Ices are like squishies. It's more a freezy is more like a popsicle. It's without a stick.
Yeah, it's like a hard stick.
Yeah.
Hang on, hold your duotangs for a minute. I gotta.
You're not looking up eaves trough, are you?
No, I'm not looking up eaves trough, but I'm looking up icy versus freezy. Ices and freezies are both frozen treats on a stick, but they are known by different names in different parts of the world. I'm not talking about a slushy Slurpee.
Maybe it's a Wisconsin
about
thing.
an icy.
Maybe in Wisconsin they're different.
All
Wisconsin's freezies are more like
Eaves,
not like ices. Eaves trough.
Eaves trough. Is it a buffet? Like you go to the restaurant. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get me some slop out of that Eaves trough.
It is not like a buffet. No. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
Sure.
An eaves trough is what Americans would call a gutter. Like the gutter.
Okay, yeah.
Not a gutter beside the road, but a gutter off the side of a roof.
My brain kind of went there because the eave is
that's right
part of the house.
Yeah,
eaves. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna call a buffet display set up an eaves trough from now on.
Okay, there's no way you're gonna know
eaves trough.
There's no way you're gonna know this.
Chicken.
Even though I bought some. And we kind of talked about it. So maybe you remember. I bought last year that came in, or the year before. Muskoka chair.
Muskoka chair.
Muskoka chair.
Oh, is that one of those like the outdoor chair thing?
Yeah.
What was it? It's like kind of like low to the ground,
yep.
tall back.
Yeah, that's right. What the Americans would call an Adirondack chair.
Adirondack chair, sure.
Yeah. We call them Muskoka chairs. Then I do have one more here, but I can't read my writing. I don't remember what the heck that was supposed
I have
to
no
be.
idea how to spell any of these things.
Yeah. How about I got one? I got an extra one. Here's a bonus one. How about a Timbit?
Timbit.
A Timbit.
Timbit. I've heard that before. A Timbit.
A
Timbit.
Timbit.
Oh boy, I've actually heard this, but I don't know what it is. A Timbit. Give me some kind of a hint. Like, where would you find it? Is it an object?
I got a few Timbits with my coffee.
Okay. Sauce just hit on it. It's like a little mini donut, like a donut hole or something.
What is Sauce giving you the answers for? This is your jeez. Sauce, you get no
I
point.
have heard of that before. Yeah. Yes, a Timbit.
Yeah, they're the donut holes. They're really not donut holes though. They make them separate. But anyways,
Well, everybody does that,
right?
Well, I know you can't call. I know that. Do they still call them Munchkins in Dunkin' Donuts?
I
Or
don't
has
know.
that term been like? Because I know they used to have a box where there were like little people making giant donut holes. I'm pretty sure that does not exist anymore.
I don't know. Dean's got a Mickey. Do you know what a Mickey is?
Like a something you put in somebody's drink.
Yeah, slip them a Mickey.
Like a roofie.
Yeah, that's kind of Canadian. I think in America you call it a flask, but here we call them Mickey. But then there's like the term, slip them a Mickey. So
yeah, well, that was like like you put something in somebody's drink. That was in those old Max Fleischer Superman cartoons. There was like some mafia boss, and I think he was yelling at one of his little henchmen. It's like,
right.
oh, it was just a Mickey, boss, like a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, next time it'll be a Mickey Finn. Drug your drink.
Well, there was also, I think in Seinfeld, it was brought up in Seinfeld. You slip them a Mickey.
I know that years and years ago when I was a kid, I went to Disney World. My uncle was there. Mickey Mouse came up to our table, and he's like, oh, waving at everybody. And my uncle's like, hey, slip me a Mickey. And he put out his hand for a shake. And then Mickey Mouse knew what it was because he was like, oh, you. Waving his finger.
There's enough Canadians that go to those resorts that he should know. Sarah wants to know if you know what a double is.
A double?
Yep.
Double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
No. If you go to
double.
Yeah.
Does it refer to like 2 sugars, 2 milk, something like that?
That's right, 100%. Well,
hey.
2 sugars, 2 cream in Tim
2
Hortons
sugars,
coffee.
2 cream.
Yeah. Do you know? Here's another one. Sarah might not know this one. This one's really gross. Do you know what a Wayne Gretzky is?
On steroids?
If you go to, I don't know if you order a Wayne, if you go to Tim Hortons and you order, it's either a Wayne Gretzky or order a 99. I think it's a Wayne Gretzky.
I don't know. Is this some kind of drink?
It's a coffee with 9 sugars and 9 creams in it.
9 sugars and 9 creams.
Yes. It's like a stupid thing that stupid kids would order. Give me a 99 just to see if Tim Hortons will do it, and they'll do it. Mm-hmm. And then you just paid for 9 sugars and
something
9
you
creams.
Can't drink. I don't know. Is this all Canadian propaganda? Are we just like?
That's right.
This whole episode.
Yes, Trudeau has the check is cleared. And the show is now the Canadian propaganda show.
Well, at least I know what a duotang I'm going to remember. Chesterfield.
Yep.
2-4. Freezy. Muskoka chair.
Muskoka chair.
Muskoka.
M-U-S-K.
Call it a Wisconsin chair.
M-U-S-K-O-K-A. Muskoka. It is It is a section of Ontario where all the rich people own a cottage.
Okay.
Hockey players, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have a cottage there. Martin Short has a
Mhm.
cottage there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna retain Duotang and Chesterfield. Some of these others are probably gonna disappear from my brain, but I think I can use those in conversation.
Yeah, do so.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. It's fun learning other languages.
Okay. Do you want to start, or I got a book and I got several movies to talk about.
A book.
Yeah,
Been reading?
a little bit.
Goodness.
This book was given to me by Curtis way back in 2021. Remember, I'm not sure if the Cartridge Club still does this, but they used to do the handheld. Well, they don't do the handheld show. He had like a handheld Cartridge Club spin-off show that was every month. And I think they do it once a year now. But back in 2021, they did it every month. And Curtis had some sort of he was stuck in England. That's what it was. I think he was stuck in England for the pandemic, and he couldn't edit some episodes. So I did them for him. No problem. And as a thank you, he sent me this book by Cameron Crowe, the filmmaker Cameron Crowe. And it is a book called Conversations with Billy Wilder, or Conversations with Wilder. So Billy Wilder is one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite director, I would say, at this point. After watching numerous of his movies, and his one film, Sunset Boulevard, is my favorite movie. That is not from my childhood, that I discovered in my adulthood. And it's an out of print book. It's hard to you can't find a digital copy or anything like that. When he sent it to me in 2021, I really couldn't read it because I didn't have reading glasses, and I'd have to hold the book like up to my nose like this to read it. So I eventually got reading glasses, but it just got put on the back burner. But I finally got to it this month. And I gotta say, yeah, it is a fantastic read. I don't know if it's for everybody, but if you're a fan of Billy Wilder, it's definitely the only thing that's out there with his official blessing. And if you want to know about his process, what he thought was important in films, and the start of all that stuff, this is it. This is your only option right here. So yeah, it's good. Very insightful. Billy Wilder was a very story or dialogue driven director, story driven director. Hitch was like a lot about the visual stuff, whereas Wilder was about punchy dialogue. Get a good idea and then just have the dialogue drive the film right to the end. Although he did do a lot of great visual stuff in his films. He just wasn't on, a lot of his stuff was on par with Hitchcock. Like I like both directors. I like Hitchcock and Billy Wilder a lot, but Hitchcock was a little bit, I would say he was a little bit one note. Like he mastered suspense, great, those kind of thriller kind of films. But anytime Hitchcock would try to do a comedy or something like that, didn't really work for me. Whereas Billy Wilder was much more versatile. He would just do whatever he felt like. Like he would be in the theater and he'd be watching a Hitchcock film. He'd be like, yeah, I should do something like that. So he would the next film he'd do would be like a film noir. But the majority of his best work was comedies. So yeah, there's a few myths that he dispelled. One of his biggest films is Some Like It Hot. That's the film with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, where they dress up as women to hide from some mafia types. It takes place in the night. The movie was made in the 50s, but it takes place in the 20s, during the Roaring 20s. And it was Marilyn Monroe's, one of Marilyn Monroe's biggest roles, where she was so they basically dress up as women and hide in this women's touring band, and Marilyn Monroe was in the band with them, and Tony Curtis flips for her, but he's pretending to be a woman, and if he outs himself as a guy, he's going to get the mafia after him and all that. So really great concept, fun movie. The movie came out in 1958, and at the time it was a little bit controversial that Billy Wilder was sticking to black and white. He stuck to black and white films when the trend at the time was to go color. And it was understood at the time that if you went black and white, you were going to just lose a portion of your profit, because people would go to the theater and they would see, oh, this is in black and white. That's old. I want something new. And they would watch a color film. So when he decided, like, he preferred to do stuff in black and white because he felt it was more difficult to do. You had to create your own texture with a black and white film, right? A color film, you can just point a camera and, you know, the color kind of does everything for you. Stuff stands out in the background. That's why film noir is film noir. They would create shadows in that to make things stand out in the background and things stand out in the foreground. And he was a big fan of that. So when he decided to do Some Like It Hot in black and white, there was a bit of a pushback, even from Marilyn Monroe. Why are you doing this in black and white? We should be doing it in color. So he told people that, well, the reason why is because Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, when they dress up as women, it didn't look good in color, right? It didn't look believable in color. You know, the 5 o'clock shadow and that. So you do it in black and white, and it looked much better, and everyone bought it. But it turned out not to be true at all. He just enjoyed doing movies in black and white. And so that's how he kind of got everyone off of his back. And then when Some Like It Hot became such a big hit, his next two films he did in black and white, nobody bothered with him.
Sure.
And then, you know, he was very obsessed with, so Cameron Crowe, when he approached Billy Wilder, they were doing the movie Jerry Maguire. And he wanted Billy Wilder to come in and do a small part for the film. And he actually had Tom Cruise meet Billy Wilder at his office to try to convince him to do this film, because Billy Wilder had no idea who Cameron Crowe is, but he knew who Tom Cruise was, right? And from that point on, like, you're reading this, so I like how Cameron Crowe did the book. It's just a series of interviews with Billy Wilder, and it's all done in chronological order. And at the beginning of the book, like, Billy Wilder is just constantly, I won't say obsessed with Tom Cruise, but like that's like the common denominator, that he knows Cameron Crowe. So he just kind of always asking him about Tom Cruise and all that. And one of the movies that Billy Wilder was interested in and talking about was the movie Rain Man. And he felt Dustin Hoffman's performance in Rain Man was actually not very difficult to do. He would say, like, Hollywood has like a real blind spot when it comes to actors who play characters that have some sort of disability or a crutch. Like a lot of the actors who win Best Actor, they'll have a limp, they'll have an addiction to something, they'll have some sort of mental illness. The whole, full retard from Tropic Thunder, that they talk about. And he said, that's not really difficult to do, because as an actor, what you do is you just tune into that one thing, and you're just playing the same emotion throughout the entire film. I'm drunk. I walk with a limp. I like Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman was basically, it didn't matter what was happening in the scene. He was just Rain Man. There was that one part where hot water burned baby, and he got a little upset.
Right.
But other than that, it doesn't matter what's going on in the scene. He's at a casino. He's Rain Man. He's at a diner. He's Rain Man. He's in the hotel room wanting to watch Judge Wapner. He's just that one note throughout the entire film. He said, what's actually hard is for a lead actor to constantly have to be within a zone of making your story believable. So I know this might be a difficult analogy for you because you probably haven't seen the movie, or a difficult example, but is what he thought was like a more difficult job for an actor to do is like what Jack Lemmon did in The Apartment. So The Apartment is about it's probably his most successful film. That's a film where he won. Billy Wilder won the Triple Crown of Academy Awards. He won Best Actor. The film won Best Picture, and he won Best Screenplay. And in that film, there's a fine line between, like, basically Jack Lemmon plays like a sad sack. He works for a company, and there are bigger guys that have more power in this company that are basically using his apartment to bring their girlfriends to. They're married men, they have more power. They're like the high executives in the company, and they use his apartment instead of having to pay for a hotel, because even though they make money, they're cheap. They use his apartment to sleep with different women that they pick up. And Jack Lemmon, he's a bit of yeah, okay, sure, whatever, you can use my apartment. And he keeps getting promoted in the company every time one of these guys uses apartment. He doesn't have like the chutzpah. He doesn't have the ability to say no or to stand up for himself. And throughout the entire film, it's not a very serious film, right? It's a funny film. So throughout the entire movie, Jack Lemmon had to stay within a zone where he couldn't be too sad, because you don't want the audience to feel too sorry for him, because that will, take away from the comedy. But you also don't want it to be too silly, right? Because if you go too silly, then it becomes a farce and people don't take the movie seriously, right? Because there are parts in the film where Jack Lemmon is contemplating suicide, so that's like a really serious subject, and you have to constantly be mindful of that, mindful of what how the audience is going to, think about the character and how they're going to feel about it. You don't want them to feel too much either way. You just want to keep them in the middle and keep the story going. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think it's. Well, I know you're not meaning it this way, but I think when like Dustin Hoffman and Rayman, I don't think it's that simple for him to just continue to play one note. You still have to maintain a certain level of performance that's engaging and interesting for the audience. But I do agree with what you're saying. Yeah, you also have to be able to. An actor has to be able to.
Yeah,
find the right spot in the range at the right time for pushing that story forward without derailing it.
Yeah, his point was that it wasn't easy. I don't use the right language sometimes. His point wasn't that it was
more
easy.
Challenging.
It's more challenging, but that kind of performance that Jack Lemmon does in that movie, it comes off as so easy because he does it so well, right? Where you're not thinking of it.
When someone's really skilled at it, they can make it look easy.
Right. Whereas if you're watching Dustin Hoffman, you're thinking, well, wow, he's doing like all this acting, but he found that one note and he could stick to it throughout the entire film. So I thought that was kind of enlightening. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of little tidbits and interesting things like that in this book. It goes really tidbits, not Timbits.
I thought we were having a secret Canadian conversation.
Timbits is no, I met my quota, and the check is from Trudeau is coming in the mail.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, really good book. Good luck in finding it. It's out of print. You can't find it digitally anywhere. So thank you so much, Curtis, for getting this for me.
That's like what people used to do before bonus features.
Read books?
Yeah. Now you can just click, you can listen to that, and you can listen to it at double speed. So,
Yeah. Well, this book came out in the late, the book came out in 2000, but the conversations were in the late 90s when DVD and all that was coming about. And yeah, Cameron Crowe asked him about doing DVDs and doing audio commentaries and all that stuff. And, he was like, honestly, I'd just rather a lot of the work be like just disappear. he, you know, he was a very self-deprecating guy. You know, he didn't really take it like I said, like this is the only thing that I know of where you can like that he actively had a part in. Like there's a lot of unauthorized biographies and all that stuff that has misinformation in it that they do talk about. But yeah, this is the only thing that he's actually sanctioned, and I don't think he's ever done an audio commentary or anything like that for a DVD or whatever. But anyways, good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wish that everyone who had a favorite director could have a book like this at some point. And kudos to Cameron Crowe too, because Cameron Crowe had to like, you know, Billy Wilder wasn't just like open arms, like, yeah, let's do this thing. Like at first he was like, I don't want to do a book at all. I don't want to do anything. I'll talk with you for a little bit. So Cameron Crowe would just kind of like, hey, we got to do a little follow up. I got to clear this thing up or whatever. And then it was like a, you know, kind of like a bath, you know, like you don't want to get in, but then as soon as you get there and you start talking to him, then the conversation flows and whatnot. So anyways, Billy Wilder, okay. I think you should watch. This is for everybody out there. If you're interested in Billy Wilder, I think his most accessible film is probably Some Like It Hot. It's a funny film, even though it came out in 1958, even though it's black and white, even though it's you know, some of the viewpoints might be a little bit dated. For the most part, it's a great, funny film. If you like that one, probably the next film you should check out is Ace in the Hole with Kirk Douglas. That's a little more serious film. It actually bombed a little bit for him at the box office because it was such a serious film, but the messaging in that film translates so well today. It's probably one of the best well-aged films that I've ever seen. So Ace in the Hole is about this reporter who stumbles on this guy. This guy gets stuck in, he's like a explorer in a cave, and he gets stuck in the cave, and they need somebody to go in there and get him out, right? And this reporter stumbles on this thing accidentally, and he kind of turns it into a big media circus where the story of getting the guy out becomes bigger than actually trying to get the guy out. It's just really well done. So if you're down for those two, then you can get into the Sunset Boulevard, and The Apartment is fantastic, and 1, 2, 3, great movies. But I think those are the two that you could get your feet wet with.
Okay. I really don't see a lot of his stuff pop up, you know, when I'm out looking through things.
Yeah.
Part of it, I'm sure, is the current demographic of like what's, you know, people are buying and selling and all that. But
well, like there are some
occasionally something.
There are some older films like Hitchcock films that you know you can. It's not too hard, not too difficult to find Hitchcock or or Humphrey Bogart or you know, or even maybe well, what the heck, Orson Welles or something like that. Like you could find stuff, but yeah, Billy Wilder, I don't like. There wasn't really a big like who owns the rights to a lot of the films is kind of all over the place, you know, because he did work for different studios and whatnot. But I think Some Like It Hot is something you could find probably on a streaming service or something like that.
We'll see.
Like check Barton, look at Sauce. He's always bringing the Simpsons into it, like Bart in the Well. Yes, sending a love down the well. Look at this, an hour. Like we're 48 minutes in. We haven't even got to. Well, I guess I talked a book about movies, but didn't actually talk about movies yet.
All right, you want me to go?
Yes.
All right. Please. All right. You had stuff there. Okay. Well, I actually don't have too much here. I did pick up a copy of this movie. It's not a Billy Wilder movie for sure. Legion from 2010. That's Paul Bettany as an angel.
Okay.
Do you know this movie?
It sounds familiar. I'm not sure
Dennis
who Paul
Quaid's
Bettany
in
is.
it.
Oh my goodness.
You don't know
I said,
who
oh
Paul
my
Bettany
goodness.
is?
Who is that again?
Paul Bettany is Paul Bettany. He he played the Vision in the Marvel movies.
Oh, that guy. Okay, yes.
That guy.
Okay.
Okay. I remember I've seen this movie once before, and I really liked the trailer, but I didn't like the movie. So I thought, let
Mm.
me watch that again. Watch it with an open mind. I really like the trailer, but the movie's still not very good. There's like one or two fun scenes. I like the concept. It's there. There's this diner in the middle of nowhere, and then the army of heaven is descending upon them. For some reason, God is angry, and these like what you think are demons are attacking them. They turn out to be angels because
Hmm.
God's just angry at humanity, and they're wiping things out. So it's like one of those, we're in a place and things are trying to attack us. What do we do? It's not very good, but I wanted to like it.
That's all you tried.
Yeah, it falls. There are a couple of films that they're not great, but I kind of see what the movie could have been or what they were going for, and a couple of the things that they do are really nice, and I hold those films in like a special level where I don't hate them, I don't feel bad about them, but I will watch them every once in a while, hoping that I'm just gonna like it, or like if it's somehow just going to become better,
Yeah.
but they never do. There are movies like Ghost Ship is on that list
Oh
for me.
boy. Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea, things like
Oh
that, where
boy.
it's like,
Yeah.
they're not there. I'm always a little disappointed, but there'll be those like little, boop. Oh, those parts were fun.
Right.
I did rewatch Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome because I
Okay.
had kind of hoped this one. I remember like the first half was all right, and then the
Yes.
second half I remember hating.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if I still felt the same way. And the first half was still kind of all right. Yeah, a little weak there, but
Hmm.
still kind of all right. Some fun stuff. And I fell asleep in the second half, so I couldn't tell you how I felt about it.
Yeah. Those kids just
Um,
take over. It's like they wanted to be like a Return of the Jedi kind of vibe to
or
it or
like a
something.
Goonies or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't
Goonies.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot about the weird dialect they had. Him do the speak talk or
Yes.
weird stuff like that.
Yes.
I was like, it was difficult. The parts that I was conscious for were a bit challenging. So a few more years down the line, maybe I'll watch it again. I did continue on with the Jurassic World
Oh my
movies.
goodness.
I did not like the first one, Jurassic World.
Right.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. That was the second one. That one I thought was really stupid.
Mm.
So I went in with very low expectations for this one. And I gotta say, I was surprised because this one got even stupider and
Wow.
worse.
Is that
This was
possible?
probably the most difficult one to sit through because it was really long. I think I watched the extended edition, which probably added like another half an hour. I don't remember how long this thing was, but this is the one where they bring back the original three from
Oh,
the
right.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've got their thing, but the movie is set up where you got the Chris Pratt guy and his
Hmm.
storyline,
Yeah.
and then you got the olds in there and their storyline, and they're doing their own thing, and then at some point their stories converge, and then everything's happening together. But it was just so bad, so boring, so overly long and convoluted. And the worst thing that these Jurassic World movies do, I don't really remember the first one so much because it's been a while, but it's what you hear about all the time. It's constant references to the old stuff,
Yep.
and boy, they just have to like show something from the first movie, like every half an hour or so. There's got to be look, that's the Jeep from the first one, or that's the dinosaur that attacked, and it was just one of those situations also where in the first movie there was this dinosaur, but now in this one we've got three of them. And then
Oh.
we had a Tyrannosaurus. Well, now we got 3 monsters. And that's what
Wow.
the ending is. It's 3 dinosaurs having a fight. You know, you got the one dinosaur there, the other one comes in, oh, they're gonna fight. Now here's another dinosaur and they're gonna fight.
It sounds kind of fun watching dinosaurs
Ah.
fight.
But at least I finished it. I'm like, okay, there we go. I'm done with all those Jurassic World movies. 2 days later, trailer comes out. They're making a new
Make
one,
another one.
which I did watch the trailer because I was just like, no, I thought like this is just petered out. So now they wiped all those characters. It's a brand new set
Oh,
of characters, and it looks like a dumb action movie where they're just gonna like run it. So it's probably gonna be even stupider.
oh,
Um,
can't wait.
I can't wait to watch it there in probably about 6 years or so. I have only one more, but I end on a high note here. I did pick up a copy of Crybaby,
Oh,
starring Johnny Depp.
and that's a John Waters movie, right?
That is another John Waters film.
I need to watch
Um,
some movies from that guy.
but yeah, I had enjoyed the other 2 that I had seen, so
Mm-hmm.
gave this one a shot, and it delivers.
Hmm.
I totally enjoyed it. I gotta say about these John Waters films, I laugh out loud for every single one of them. They're offbeat, quirky. This one is a Romeo and Juliet style story where you got like the grease. They're kind of greasers slash hillbillies, and then you got the uppity up socialites, you know, and they're in high school, and then he and a girl from the good crowd and Johnny Depp, kind of cross paths, and then they start hanging out together, and then everybody's like, "No, you stay away from him. He's a bad egg." And there's musical numbers and dance routines and lots of silliness.
It
Good
sounds
time.
like they're like he's having fun with the Grease movies.
A
Is that
little bit, but it doesn't really feel like we're making fun of Greece.
okay?
It does go off into its own weird like tangents and definitely unique characters. There's the one of Johnny Depp's. I forget if she was a friend or a sister. I think she was just a friend, but her name is Hatchet Face,
Wow.
and she's not an attractive person, and they intentionally like mess her makeup up real weird, and I don't know. They're just a play on this unattractive woman who is, part of his crew, but it's
They sound like fun
bizarre.
movies. Like I just saw a
They
video.
are.
I just saw a video with Patton Oswalt. He was going on about John Waters movies, and I
Yeah,
keep hearing about them.
there's a really famous one he did called Pink Flamingos, and I keep
Hmm.
trying to find a copy of it. But boy, I guess that had a very limited run, but also has a bit of cult status to it that makes it very high
Yeah.
priced on the
Mm.
aftermarket. Because I think I saw a DVD once and it was like $60.
Ooh,
So
jeez.
I don't know. I will end on this. Last time we talked, I had mentioned I bought this copy of The Fall.
Yes.
That was a Region B disc. Turns out that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Got myself a nice region free Blu-ray player.
Nice. Right
Yeah.
on. So did you watch The Fall?
I didn't. I put it
Yeah.
in to make sure that it worked, but I'm still in that phase of, I want to check every little feature on it. So every night I was
Right.
just like, I'd put in, a Region B Blu-ray. I'd put in all different DVDs to see what's going on. So it's nice. Plays all DVDs. Even plays I have like a bootleg copy of Idiocracy. That worked
Oh,
fine.
nice.
Blu-rays worked fine. Very happy with it.
Cool.
Of course, in setup, I did have this happens to me a lot when I get something new technology. I get so excited that I don't think straight. So I was hooking it up, and I've got a projector up there. I hook it up to, and the projector has an HDMI 1 and an HDMI 2. And I used the HDMI 1. And I got a little splitter on that because I had 2 different Blu-ray players hooked up. So for some reason, while I'm hooking it up, my brain is like, okay, I'm taking off the old Blu-ray player, put this one on. This one's number 2. Let me hook up HDMI 2. And then I'm sitting there and I'm not getting a picture. And I'm like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Oh, because I selected HDMI 2, which I never, never, never do. But for some reason, I did it this time. Then I don't get any sound. And it took me a while to remember, okay, I have to adjust the sound settings to like PCM for this thing. And then it's like, okay. And it was just stuff like that. You know, I'm pulling my hair out like, oh, did it get damaged in shipping? Do I have to try to send this back? Like, I'm just too excited.
Yeah.
Not thinking straight.
I had a similar thing when I just bought that new HD DVD player, and I had to, arrange some things in different spots, and it was the same deal. And I wasn't getting video and sound on some things. I'm like, what had changed and all that. I just turned everything off, unplugged some bunch of stuff, plugged everything back in, turned it back on. Everything worked fine. So it's one of those things.
That's just what you have to go through. It has to be that anxiety-inducing moment before you can enjoy the new toy.
Okay.
Guess what? You're about to get 5 random questions.
Oh my goodness! 2 trivia things in one episode. This is
we're going off the rails here.
Old school Fandango here. All right.
Crazy. All right. Question number 1. As a child, what popular cartoon did you not enjoy? I'm not saying something that you didn't watch because it wasn't available. I mean something you sat down, you're like, hey, I'm gonna watch this. I'm not really feeling it.
I can't think of anything. I loved cartoons when I was a kid. I watched anything and everything, like from
I did too.
Garfield and Friends to
oh, that's good stuff. I actually have several answers. Oh, G.I. Joe.
It's not that I didn't like G.I. Joe. I just didn't get it. Like I didn't receive it. If G.I. Joe was pumped into my house, I would definitely be watching it. I loved cartoons so much.
Well, that's the thing. I would watch cartoons all the time, but I would watch things that even if I didn't like them, I would watch it just because I was addicted to television at that time.
Yeah.
But I'll give you my answer. For me, the Flintstones. I never enjoyed the Flintstones.
I like the Flintstones.
Same for the Jetsons. I actually hated the Jetsons.
Wow, the Hanna-Barbera.
But I did watch it.
Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo is Hanna-Barbera. Did you like Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo is my number 3 on that list.
Good or bad? Or bad. You're not a Hanna-Barbera
It's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I didn't enjoy it. And yeah, Scooby-Doo was on that list too. I just, for some reason, never got into it. I kind of feel bad to not like Scooby-Doo. And again, it's not like I have anything bad to say about it. It's just as a child, sitting down to watch it, it wasn't my thing. I'd rather watch G.I. Joe or Muppet Babies or something like that.
Right. I don't know. I could think of, as a kid, I can't think of one. Modern day me, like I tried watching that. Oh God, I can't remember that one cartoon with the secret agent in it. I can't remember the name.
Johnny Quest?
No, like it's like an adult cartoon. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. I can't think of one.
I don't know what's on there.
There was cartoons like when I got older, like I just didn't I wasn't really interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like they were like I'd still watch them, but it wasn't like, oh, I gotta see.
Well, I think that's kind of what I'm going for. Is like you watch it, but it's not your thing. You're like,
but I was older. Like I was like 13, 12, 13.
Okay.
So I don't know if that counts. When I was a little kid, it didn't matter if there was cartoons on, I would watch it. The only thing that bothered me was like cartoons that only had a short run, so they would air the same episodes over and over again.
Right.
That's about it. But I love T-Man, She-Ra. I didn't even watch She-Ra. Didn't care. Yeah.
Rocket Sauce taking a hot take here. Hanna-Barbera better than Warner Brothers.
Ooh.
I disagree.
No. Like Bugs Bunny in that? No,
Yeah,
man.
there's
No.
no way. Looney Tunes is like that's the
That's
one to
like
beat,
elite. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's no. That transcends time.
I mean, I will give Tom and Jerry very strong props.
Yeah.
The classic Tom and Jerry before Chuck Jones started doing it, fantastic.
Hmm.
It's up there. Next question. Do you have more hair in your nose or your ears?
Probably in my nose, but my ears are catching up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say a similar thing, except my ears have caught up and surpassed. It used to be the
Wow.
nose. That used to be the thing like, uh-oh, I got a little one sticking out there. But now the ears are out of control.
If we're talking sticking out, my ears have it. The
Oh, okay.
hair, they have it. I'm talking like internal, probably more on
Yeah.
my nose. Sticking out, definitely my ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's how it works, right? You got to have it all in there to keep out the COVIDs and things.
Yeah.
Gosh, what do I want to go into here? What canned foods do you eat?
Tuna, peaches. I do have like I make chili, and
Ooh,
my secret ingredient in the chili
is cans chili?
is it's manwich. You know, a sandwich is just
Manwich.
I
Okay.
just for like I put like everything in it in my chili is real. You know, either ground turkey, ground chicken, or ground pork. Can't do the ground beef because Sarah can't eat it. Real onions, real tomatoes, real spices, real kidney beans, like dried kidney beans. I put them in the
Hmm.
pressure cooker and I even cook them. I don't even do that, Kate. And then I just kind of smother it all with manwich sauce and mix it in.
Manwich.
Throw it in the slow cooker, and that's it. I'm not big on sauces saying peas, corn, carrots, green beans. I'm not big on canned vegetables. I prefer frozen vegetables.
Hmm.
But that's pretty much it. Canned sometimes like I would eat canned soup, but a lot of it has wheat in it because they use like macaroni or whatever for uh, their like pasta. They put pasta in the soups or whatever.
Sure.
So
All
yeah,
that gluten.
yep.
Sauce picked a good one. Refried beans. I'm totally with you there.
Sometimes, yeah, I'll grab that. I grew up poor.
Refried beans are expensive around here.
I don't know if
That's an import item. They mark it up.
are canned vegetables cheaper than frozen vegetables. I don't know.
I think it depends on the maker, and if you
Maybe.
got like
Yeah.
a BPA free can, or if it's just that like chemical garbage. I used to love those French cut green beans where they're like all
Mm.
shredded up and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I my number
Used to.
one is baked beans. I gotta
Oh
go and get some
yeah.
baked beans all the time.
Actually, yeah. Sarah and I are big on the baked beans as well. I have a way of making that as well. Like it's gotta be fried in a frying pan, and I cook the crap out
Ooh.
of it. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people just throw it in a microwave, but I totally life hack this the beans. First of all, put some oil in, fry up your onions, get them like translucent, really
Hmm.
fried. And then if you want to put some meat in it, like bologna or wieners or sausage or whatever, put your meat in it, pre-cooked, of course.
Hmm.
And then, fry that up a little bit. And then you put your beans in. And, usually 2 cans of beans. And then I cook them to the point where they are like the sauces become thick. I don't,
Thank you. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I don't like it's too sweet. It's like it burns off the sugar or something like that. And then I'll
Oh,
use
absolutely.
then sometimes like if it's not like if there's not enough sauce, I'll put some barbecue sauce. I use
Hmm.
oh, I can't remember the name of it. Some Canadian barbecue sauce. Throw that on there. just just to thicken up the sauce, and might put some red hot in there for some spice if we want. But that's how I do my beans.
Yeah, when I get baked beans, the only ones I can get around here, they're from Italy. I can't get any of those fancy baked beans with all the different flavors and stuff.
Mm,
So they're very bland. So I do the same thing. I stick them in a pot, cook them down until that sauce really thickens up because there's a lot of extra liquid. I even
yeah,
pour off the top a little bit. There's kind of
yeah.
like some liquid that's separated. Throw in, whatever seasonings you want, some like garlic, salt, pepper, brown sugar sometimes. I'll, mix it all up. But I like your idea of the frying pan. That might
Hmm.
help cook it off a little
Yeah,
easier.
that'll take off the liquid. The liquid will evaporate. Does it?
Yeah.
So what kind of beans are they? Are they beans and tomato sauce?
Yeah, it's kind of like a tomato sauce.
Yeah,
Very bland though.
yeah. That's what I get to, because here you can get, so the big like beans are huge here in Canada. I think baked beans might be Canadian. Definitely the
Really?
French. Yeah, the French baked
What do you
beans
what
are
do you call them? What's
beans.
your slang term for baked beans?
Beans, just beans. But they put molasses in it. And I'm not a fan of that at
Ooh.
all. So you can get beans with tomato sauce, beans and tomato sauce with pork, beans and molasses. And there's a few other ones, but I just get the tomato sauce ones. I'm not a fan of the molasses at all. That's like a very French Canadian. Like they'll make it looks awesome. They'll make it, it'll be like this big thing of beans, and they put these big strips of cooked bacon on top of them. But the
Ooh.
beans and the bacon grease gets all in the beans and that, and it looks so tasty. And then you start, oh, this is gonna be so good. And then you eat it, it's like, oh, it's got molasses in it. It's not big down disappointment.
See, this would have been a joke, but now that you say that, do people make baked beans with like maple syrup in them?
I think so. That might be one of them. That might be one of the flavors.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't like anything sweet like that.
All right. Next question is a short and simple one. How much of a crossword puzzle can you finish before giving up?
Depends on how difficult the crossword puzzle is. If we're talking like New York Times crossword puzzle,
Mhm.
I might get like maybe 10 answers in.
Mm.
And that's it. I do have like crossword puzzle books. I used to do them a lot more when we would stay at my grandmother's cottage, in the year like 2004, when there was no internet or anything like that, and we do a ton of crossword puzzles, but had the answers in the back of the book. And then after you did about 5 or 6 of them, they'd be the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we got someone asking us, what is this show? The Useful Idiots. I don't know. I don't know what this show is.
It's self-explanatory, I guess.
It's been so many things.
It's what you're listening to.
It's devolved into this. But thanks for checking us out.
Yeah, that's the term.
Yeah.
The de-evolution.
Yeah.
A little follow-up to that one. Do you do crossword puzzles in pen or pencil?
Pen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Someone's confident.
That's right. I do the pen. And I get a lot wrong.
I agree. I think the last time I tried like a New York Times level crossword, yeah, you get like a dozen or so, and then it's just look at all those empty squares.
Yeah.
This is depressing. Let me throw this
on
away
the internet,
before anyone sees it.
Go on the internet, try to find like what the answer could possibly be or whatever. But yeah,
I don't know. And yeah, sometimes I'll just go ahead and I'll do it in pen because I know I'm not gonna finish this anyway. What does it matter? at least I've got something on there, so if somebody walks by, they're like, "Oh, look at that!"
Hey, a little bit.
They're not gonna read it and check. It has the right number of letters.
Oh, Sauce says to like and subscribe. So
yes, comment, subscribe.
That's what people do on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Last question. What is your favorite bad joke?
My favorite bad joke?
Yeah.
If it's my favorite,
guess they would call them dad jokes now.
Oh, dad jokes. Oh, geez, I got a ton of them. I don't know. See, I can't I'm not the kind of guy that like tell me a joke and I could just think of it. It's like the situation comes up and the stupid joke comes up. Like I bet you Sarah could like tell you what all the stupid things I say, but I can't.
All right. All right. Well, give me like when you were a kid, did you have those little joke books you read through and it's just
Okay.
kind of
Yeah,
dumb
I got
kid jokes?
so I got one for okay. Well, there's the old knock knock who's there, banana who, knock knock who's there, banana. Then you say orange, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? I like that one. When I was a kid, now this is not a politically correct joke, but this is I'm a kid in the 1980s. Okay,
get your fingers ready, people. We want comments.
So here's my bad joke from when I was a kid. Okay, so there is a Englishman, a Frenchman, and a Newfie. And a Newfie,
what?
A Newfie is Canadian slang for someone from Newfoundland.
Okay.
Newfie jokes are huge in Canada,
down.
so you're learning a lot about Canada. I better get like some extra pay from Trudeau for all the extra Canadian content in this episode.
Instead of a title for this episode, just put a Canadian flag there.
So you got an Englishman, a Frenchman, and a Newfie, and they're talking, and they're like, "Hey." A guy meets up with him, and the guy is like, "Hey, what do you guys like to do to keep cool? Like if it's hot or whatever, because I'm really hot. It's a really hot day, and I'd like some advice on how to keep cool." So the Englishman says, "Well, to keep cool, what I do is I grab myself a nice glass of orange juice, cold orange juice, and I drink down that orange juice, and it keeps me cool." And it's like, okay, great. And it's the Frenchman. What do you do to keep cool? And he's like, well, what I do is I bring a fan with me wherever I go. So wherever I go, I could just plug in my fan and I sit beside my fan, and it keeps me cool. It's like, okay, that's good. That's good. Then he asks the Newfie, what do you do? Like, how do you keep cool? And the Newfie says, well, what I do is I bring a car door window with me wherever I go. He says, a car door window, how does that keep you cool? He's like, well, whenever I get hot, I just roll it down and it cools me right down. There you go.
Are you sure this isn't like a recycled Polish joke?
It might be. I don't know. We called them Newfie jokes. Have you heard that one before? But it was a Polish person? No?
No. Well, it sounds like it would be a
Look at you standing by with a racist comment. I don't know if Newfies are a race of people, but bigoted, definitely, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh,
yeah. Bigot. Type in bigot. This is going to be great for the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, yeah.
Pick up that up. Got the alt-right show here.
All right. Oh, my favorite bad joke that always gives me a chuckle. What do you call cheese that doesn't belong to you?
I don't know.
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. Nacho cheese.
Always good.
That's
for
good.
A smile.
That is good. That's the name of my Wi-Fi. I named my Wi-Fi Nacho Wi-Fi because there's a bunch of Wi-Fi. Like when you open your phone,
when
there's
you,
a bunch of
you
Wi-Fi.
see the list.
You see that one? It's not your Wi-Fi.
Not your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Do.
And that's it. Wow.
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
So
I can't tell if I'm
what do
winning.
you got there? Give me some movies.
Okay, movies. Okay, I'll talk about this one. So the first one, this is Jackie Chan, Kung Fu Master.
Uh-huh.
So I picked this up for $1.
Ooh.
Big waste of $1.
Wow. Is that like an early movie? I don't know this one.
Nope. This is like 2010-ish, 2011. But Jackie Chan, Kung Fu Master, is the most misleading title ever made because it doesn't have much Jackie Chan in it or Kung Fu.
Okay.
The entire movie is basically Chinese propaganda to encourage children to not follow their dreams and just to stay in school and do well in school.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I sort of did. I watched a good first 20 minutes, and then I kind of like started skimming because I'm like, where is Jackie Chan? Like, I'm not seeing Jackie Chan in this because he pops up at the beginning. So he pops up at the beginning. He's making a film. He's making a movie, and then the movie. There's an extra, a kid who's an extra, and he's trying to get into the movie business, and he screws up the scene because he's supposed to be dead. He's supposed to be a dead extra lying on the ground dead, and he doesn't really get the concept of what he's supposed to be doing. So he sits up and he tries to start talking to Jackie Chan while they're shooting the movie. So he gets fired from the set, kicked off the lot, and he's forced to go. I think he was on, I can't remember what island he was on off of Japan, but he's forced to go to mainland Japan to live with his grandparents who are going to send him to school and get him to do well in school. While he can't concentrate on school, he's just obsessed with Jackie Chan. So the entire film is him trying to get on set again with Jackie Chan to talk to Jackie Chan. And eventually he does do that because his grandmother goes with him, and his grandmother convinces Jackie Chan to talk to him. And Jackie Chan finally shows up at the end of the film for like the last 2 minutes of the film and convinces the kid to not follow his dreams, forget the movie business, and just stick with school and do well in school and focus on your studies. And then, big pro-Japanese propaganda music starts playing Chinese music starts playing, and then that's it. So it's just all, that was it. So yeah, for $1, it's going away. So that was my warning. If you're out and about and you see this, don't buy it because he's not in it at all very much. It's funny too because the movie, like, part of the reason why the kid likes Jackie Chan so much is that he does his own stunts. He doesn't use body doubles, but he does in this movie.
Well, he showed up for like 2 days and
pretty much, yeah.
Now, is that called Jackie Chan Kung Fu Master, or is it, his name because he's in it and the title is actually Kung Fu Master?
I'm not 100% sure. It's called something else in China, and I'm not sure.
Because I was going to say, like, it sounds like, well, why would he have his name attached to that? But it sounds like he's definitely in for the message. It wasn't coincidental, like they had this footage and they spliced it together.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he did it at all, unless it was something to appease the Chinese government or something for some reason. But like the message is very, I don't know. It's not a very good film, regardless.
Okay.
I did end up watching the Matrix trilogy. I did end up watching the next two films. So get ready for me to ruin this for you. No. Honestly, I'm watching it and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm trying to like see, okay, I'm not a big fan of the first film, but everybody else is, and everybody hates these two movies, and they say it's like just a dramatic drop from the first two films. And I'm watching them, and I'm waiting for it to happen, and it just seems like as if the entire series was just on a level playing field to me. Like it just didn't. They didn't seem to be any worse than the first movie. I could see how people were upset with where the movies went, because they don't really fulfill the promise of the first film. And maybe that's why people are upset with it. But quality wise, it just kind of seemed to be on the same level.
Quality wise, I think I think they lost a bit of interest. It was one of those situations where you had kind of a short, simple premise, as convoluted as the first movie might be. But yeah, it just seemed like, okay, now we got to build this world out and like stretch it all out, and kind of what happens with like the Star Wars movies and things like that. It's like now we got to like just expand everything, and it kind of takes away from what the original was. But if you weren't a fan of the original, then sure, I guess you could just quality wise see it flush across the board.
Like at the beginning of the second film, I was kind of enjoying it because it was taking a lot of the absurdity of the first film and really I really like just kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? don't want to say taking a dump on it, but essentially like a lot of the stuff that didn't make sense in the first movie at the beginning of the second movie, it was like, so how do I say this? In the first film, you got this Morpheus guy who's convinced that Neo is the one, right?
Right.
And in the first movie, it's never explained how he is the one or anything like that, but he is the one. At the beginning of the second film, you find out that Lawrence Fishburne, what the heck's his name? I just said Morpheus. Not everyone's on board with this idea. They make it sound like as if everyone's on board with this idea, but not everyone is. It turns out that he is just like he's a captain on a ship in a huge army. He's got people that he needs to answer to and all that. And some of them are like, what are you doing with this? Like his basically his superior, his commander is like, what are you doing chasing around this stupid idea that this kid is the number one when your job is to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And I was kind of enjoying that. It was kind of like, oh, this is kind of rewarding because I thought that was stupid in the first film. And here that it says this guy is saying this is stupid in the second film. So I'm like, okay, this is good. But then it just kind of goes off the rails. Morpheus is then like a hero to a lot of the lower class people in the town that he's in. So it didn't really make sense why he would be a captain in the army as well, when so many people, like he had like all this influence and everything, you know, like people really believed in what he said. And it seemed like really wishy-washy. And then the entire movie sets up all these, I can understand why people were upset with the second movie because it set up all these premises or these things at the beginning of the film, and it didn't follow through by the end of the movie. The end of the second movie just kind of, you know, finishes. It stops like in the middle of the story. And I guess part of that is that the second film came out within the same year, but as the movie,
they came out a couple months apart or something.
Yeah, so maybe that's why they felt like it could get like for me, like The Empire Strikes Back, even though it is a movie that bridges the first film and the second film together, it still sets up, you know, everything it sets up at the beginning of the movie, it follows through by the end of the film, right?
Sure.
Like Luke Skywalker needs to carry on with his training. He does do that. You know, he finds Yoda, carries on with his training. Then he decides that he's going to leave to go help his friends. Han Solo's got to deal with this bounty that's over his head, the bounty hunter thing. And he proceeds to try to do that. And then he ends up getting frozen in carbonite. Darth Vader needs to find Luke Skywalker. Darth Vader finds Luke Skywalker. Everything that's set up at the beginning of Return of the Jedi or The Empire Strikes Back, those things are there's threads. Not everything's like tied. There's still threads that carry over to the next film, but those things are resolved by the end of the film. Sure. Matrix 2, nothing's resolved. Nothing really makes sense. You got like this one guy that can kind of go, I don't know. Nothing made sense. I don't even want to get into it. It just kind of that makes sense. So then by the third film, you know, Morpheus is like, in the second film, he's set up as this guy that has like this following, but he's still this captain. But then by the third film, he's not even Lando Calrissian. He's just the guy that's sitting beside Lando in the co-pilot seat. Because they're going through like all this Matrix stuff, and it's Will Smith's wife that's like the pilot. She's like the super pilot that could do all this stuff. And Morpheus is just sitting there like going along for the ride. I'm like, this is supposed to be the guy, the prophet, the guy that has like all this. Anyways,
I haven't seen the third one in a long time.
By the end of the film, like the whole thing is like machines are using humans as batteries for energy, for power. Basically, Agent Smith is like a rogue program. He's the guy with the glasses played by Hugo Weaving that's like all over the place. Basically, his program kind of goes rogue from the machines. He was originally a machine program. He goes rogue and he takes over the Matrix to the point where the machines don't have control over the Matrix at all anymore. It's all Agent Smith. And Agent Smith is now proving that he can also come into the real world. He does not just contain to the Matrix, because he takes over one of the guys that was on the ship the mission with Neo and tries to attack Neo, or tries to attack people on the ship. So he's coming into the real world. So now Neo approaches the machines and he's like, we have to fight together in order to take down Agent Smith, because if we don't, Agent Smith is going to take over all of us. So they come to a truce and they say, okay, let's work together and we'll take down Agent Smith. And spoiler alert for Matrix Part 3, Revolution, that's what they do. They take down Agent Smith. But it leaves a lot of stuff like out there. Like, okay, so they have this truce, but are the machines still using humans as batteries? Or is that like not happening? What are they using for power instead? Like a lot of the writing just wasn't there. You know, they just didn't really tie in anything. I don't know. Anyways.
I think that's why most people don't really care for the second ones, because the first one felt a little small. Sure, like big scale ideas, kind of like Star Wars. You know, it's like all this big universe, but it's focused on, you know, just
One
a
part
couple
of it.
little people.
Yeah.
one little group and their story, and that's
Right.
what the first Matrix was, and then, you know, expand the universe. And I mean, I kind of feel that way. I think J.K. Rowling did it better with the Harry Potter books, but you know, there's like the first book felt kind of small, and then boy, she just expanded on that universe, and
Right.
she did it kind of well. I kind of get tired after like the first one or two, but it was a little done a bit better.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Kinda-
any of the Harry
Are
Potter
you gonna
movies.
watch the fourth Matrix movie?
I don't know. I downloaded them, and I downloaded the Animatrix, so I might. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. The series just kind of like, I don't know, ended there for me, I guess. So I was just like, yeah. And yeah, and then they made like, that was the other thing too, is they gave, in the second movie, they gave Neo all these like superpowers, like he could fly around the Matrix and everything, and fight. So he's fighting Agent Smith in the Matrix, and they're doing like all this stuff, and they're fighting for like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 minutes, just keeps going on. I'm like, Neo, why don't you just fly away? You don't have to stay here. You can fly away. So after about 5 or he's losing, and he finally flies away. I'm like, well, you could have done that at the beginning and saved us, a few
Well, I
minutes
think
there.
that was, I think the ending of the first movie where he flies away was same as the end of the first Back to the Future, where it's like, oh, Marty, we got to go do something about your kids. They didn't intend to make a sequel. It was
Right.
just, that was like hey, his adventures are going to go on, but you know, that's the end of our story.
Right.
And it makes a lot of money, and it's like, okay, we got to do
Keep
that
going.
thing, and same
Yeah.
thing, we got to shoot 2 sequels at the same time. So they wouldn't have put Jennifer in the car. They wouldn't have had Neo fly away.
Right.
Can't take it back now.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think better writers would have been able to pull it off, though. I did watch. So we talked about Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
I did watch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
And I'm still not a fan of the Planet of this Apes reboot series.
Yeah, not good.
So this film, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, it's 10 years after the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and the apes have established themselves in the forests. You know, they got like huts and stuff like that, and humans are in the cities. And it's been like a couple of years since any of the apes have seen humans, and they're like not even sure if the humans are still around. And then they run into a human in the woods. And then like, oh, there are still humans, and blah, blah, blah. Turns out that these humans, they are searching for an electric power dam, a hydro dam that's up in the woods, in the hills, because they are running out of power in the city. They're running on backup generators and all that stuff, even though none of that makes any sense, because a diesel fuel would like solidify within a couple of years. 10 years later, you wouldn't still have diesel fuel, but whatever. Anyways, they need power. So they want to go and get to this hydroelectric dam. And at first, the humans are like, okay, well, we're going to build up our army. We're going to build up all of our guns and all that. And we're going to go in, we're going to wipe out the apes, and we're going to take over the hydro dam. And one of the, what's his name? Patrick, the guy from
Stewart?
Watchmen. Patrick Stewart. No, the guy from Watchmen movies. What the heck's his name?
I
don't know. They keep putting him in lead roles. I don't really care for him very much. Anyways, he convinces them, no. Let me go talk to the apes. We're like, you can't talk to apes. They're just, they're savages. You can't do it. No, he's like, let me try to convince them. So he goes up there and he convinces them to allow them to go and fire up the hydro dam, and we'll fire it up. We'll get it running, and then we'll get out of here and we'll leave you alone. Even though that doesn't make any sense, because a hydroelectric dam, you can't just flick on a switch, get it running and leave it. It requires constant maintenance. You can't just, but whatever, movie, sure. Mm-hmm. So while he's up there and he convinces them that to allow him to like work on the dam, a couple of apes sneak away and they sneak into the city, and they find out that the humans are building this army. They're still building, they're putting together all of these guns and all that stuff. And so then the apes go back and report. They say, just let the humans be humans and the apes be apes when the hydro thing is done. But there were some apes that just couldn't let it go. They had to go into the city anyways, and then they start shooting and firing and all that. And the thing goes all to hell. And I'm watching this and I'm just thinking to myself, look, all these people got to do is just talk to each other. They just communicate with each other, Just explain what the hydroelectric dam is. Explain that it's for power. Explain that, like, if we get this thing running, everybody could have power. Like, do I need to be the politician that goes in and solves this thing? But no, they just, it was just, the whole thing just felt very contrived. Like there was just conflict for the sake of having conflict. It didn't seem like a very natural thing, natural reason. And then a lot of the movie and the dialogue itself in the movie just felt like very safe movie dialogue. They weren't really taking any risks. It was all like lines of dialogue that I've heard in other movies before, in better movies.
Sure.
They just kind of, but they didn't want to like rock the boat at all. And to me, like, that's not what the spirit of the original films were. As corny and cheesy as they were, they still were trying different things. They were still trying to create this universe and create this whole idea of a natural conflict between human and apes. It was all an allegory too for like racism and euthanization, or not euthanization, ethnic cleansing and all that stuff. It was all like layered within it was all subtexture within those movies, as cheesy as they are. And in these movies, they seem to be just retreading the same stuff. They're just going over the same stuff that the original films went in, and it's just not as good.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? It's the whole pre-sold franchise. Everybody knows the name. We can make money by selling these things, but we can't get too political and all these things, because everybody's going to make those connections, and we don't want to offend anybody, so we gotta be careful about what we say. Yeah. And people nitpick things nowadays. You could have that subtext years ago, because people would watch it, they wouldn't think about it. A couple people would be like, there's something going on in there. Everybody else is just watching the apes fight the humans. But nowadays, like, everything is analyzed and critiqued, and every frame of every bit of that trailer is going to be looked at. And it's like, hey, they just got to play it safe. Who are you saying this group is? Who are you saying that group is?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. The original films did it better, so I just don't really care that much to carry on with the series. So I think I'm done there. I'm not going to bother with the next two. Like, I watched most of it, and then like the last half hour, I just kind of fast forward through it, because it was all just big explosions, and still, like, the apes don't look that good to me. There's a huge improvement from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but they still felt very cartoony. Like I felt like I was watching an animated feature.
I mean, there's just too many of them. I mean, you can make fun of the masks and stuff in some of the later Planet of the Apes movies, but I mean, you get over it kind of quickly. Watch that first movie, and it's like, oh, there's people in ape masks and everything, but action's happening, lots of things are going on. There's interesting discussions and concepts being played with. So the ape mouths,
Yeah, yeah,
it kind of take it in.
yeah,
Fine. Every time you're watching cartoon apes swing around, there's like hundreds of them and everything.
yeah. And it's just sensory overload. It just, I don't know, it loses me. I want a good story. I'm a story guy. I like good
As
stories.
much as the Tim Burton one wasn't a very good movie, costumes, the prosthetics in that, they look fantastic.
Yeah, maybe I should check that out. Saw says we should give the candy apple movies a shot. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
I know what a candy apple is.
What do you call a candy apple in Canada?
We call it a candy apple.
Oh, right.
Or as the French would say, candy apple. I still remember that episode of Family Ties where Nick comes over. Mallory's boyfriend Nick comes over, and Mallory's learning French, and she's like, yeah, say some, give me some things, and I'll translate them to French for you. And he's like, oh, okay. How do you say this? And he holds up a croissant, and she says croissant. He's like, oh. So then throughout the rest of the episode, he would be like, yeah, I'll have another pork chop, or as the French would say, pork chop. Stupid. Candy Apple Island. I will check it out. I'm writing it down.
Candy Apple Island?
I'm writing it down.
I
got John Waters written down and Candy Apple Island as reminders of stuff to look.
Oh, boy. All right. You got me.
What is it?
What do you think it is? What could it possibly be other than what it is?
Pornography? I don't know. Is it pornography?
Oh, no, you're going to kick yourself.
Is it a Simpsons reference?
Of course it is.
Candy Apple Island. Simpsons tapped. Oh boy.
Yeah, I believe wasn't that when Homer was King Kong?
King Kong, yeah. It's better than Ape Island.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's everything.
Oh, you got nothing?
Well, I mean, I got more, but I mean, that was the stuff that I thought you would be interested in. I mean, I did watch the movie Jet Li, the one, and it was terrible because it was there's something about like Jet Li movies when they brought him over to America, they were like really spitballing ideas, trying everything, but he's not a very good, he's a good actor in his native language, but in English, it's just he's not very compelling, but it's just funny. Like they took elements of a little bit of like Men in Black, a lot of the Meh-trix, and another movie I can't remember. But it's just funny. They just meshed them all together, just like try to like potato mash it all together to make it sense. But he's basically there's like alternate universes, and they found a way to move between universes, like to travel between universes. And he discovers that if he kills other people in his universe or in other universes, he becomes more powerful in his own universe. So if he goes to another universe, kills a person that's like him, like his alternate self, like just like a Spock,
right,
going in and killing Spock with the beard, Spock in our universe would be more powerful. He'd be smarter. He could jump higher and all that stuff. So it
kind of sounds like Highlander.
Yes, that was the other movie.
I got, just from what you're saying, because I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen a lot of Jet Li movies, but I'd say one of the reasons why his movies kind of suffer a little bit is just timing, because it was very early 2000s.
Yeah,
and it had that style that hasn't aged well of
it's either
like the Meh-trix, the leather trench coats and the
blue
the
filter,
music,
a blue filter on everything. Everything's got the blue filter. Yeah, it does.
Everything had that. Look how cool I am. Look how cool this is kind of style. That and the what you're saying about this movie, Highlander, and it kind of sounds a little bit like that Everything Everywhere All at Once movie, because
Sure.
that
Yeah.
was like going to different dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, it's just a ridiculous movie. Basically, he gets himself down to this is the bad version of himself. Gets himself down to only one other. There's only two, but as he's knocking these other guys down, the one that he has left over, he's getting more powerful too. So eventually, you got two that are even strength, and one is good and one is evil, and they fight each other. All wire fu as well. That's thanks to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff, which in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it looked good because it was part of the aesthetic of the film, part of what they were going for, the supernatural thing. In this, it just looks, really stupid and ridiculous. You have Jason Stratham.
Statham.
He's in it. Statham's in it with Delroy Linto. He's a black actor. He was in Get Shorty. Anytime I see him pop up, I'm like, but they're totally wasted in this movie. They play two agents that are after Jet Li, the bad Jet Li, and that's where like the Men in Black thing comes in, because they're trying to be like Men in Black officials, like agents, because they have like a guy higher up to report to, like, hey, did you stop that Jet Li guy yet? No, we're still like going through dimensions and trying to figure him out and all that stuff. Anyways, it wasn't a very good movie. I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm getting rid of that one as well.
I see that one in the store all the time.
I do like Jet Li's like Chinese films. Like there's one called Black Mask. I have a terrible English dub of it, but the movie itself isn't bad, and I really would like a Japanese or Chinese dub of it. But everything else that I've seen from him, from the American movies that they try to bring, like they've all not been very good. He's either teamed up with DMX, that rapper guy that died,
Yeah.
or Steven Seagal or something stupid. It's always just something stupid.
I get all of those movies mixed up because like Steven Seagal and DMX and Jet Li kind of.
Yeah, they were all like
there were like a couple of movies in a couple of years, and I always forget which one is which.
Yeah. And then he did and then Dean Norris is in the movie from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's in it for like a few seconds, so that's kind of cool to see a young Dean Norris before he became Dean Norris. In it. Yeah, what did I watch? Jet Li Unleashed was pretty good. He's in Lethal Weapon 4. Hero, I did watch that one. That wasn't that great. Romeo Must Die, that was terrible. Cradle to the Grave, that was the movie he did with DMX.
Is it Cradle number 2?
Yeah.
The Grave?
Yeah, right. Cradle to the Grave. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm off the Jet. I got one more Jet Li movie in my collection. I'm gonna check it out. It's called Kiss the Dragon. And then that's it. I'm off the Jet Li train.
You could watch those Expendable movies, isn't those?
I watched the first one, and I had no desire to watch any of the others. Sorry, Sauce. I know they're Stallone movies, but I couldn't get past the first one. That's it. That's everything.
Oof.
Yes, that's enough.
All right.
Thanks everyone in the chat. We had a lot of people in the chat. We had Sauce. We had Sarah. We had Ramvox himself. The useful idiot showed up for a second. Said, "What is this?" Realized what it is and left. I don't blame him.
As Dean did.
Dean was in here. Was that it? Oh, and we had Deke at the beginning.
Yeah.
To say hello. So thanks everyone.
Tons and tons of comments though. I guess scroll through all this.
Not bad. Not bad. Well, we had a lot of people like to answer when you're asking questions and stuff, and they know the answer. They like to answer that stuff. So all right. That's it. That's everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, I got to pack up my duo tang, and I think I'll have a seat on the Chesterfield and enjoy myself a freezy and some Timbits.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Okay. Well, don't forget your toque, because I want you to stay warm.
Yes.
And
And watch out for the newfies.
and clean out your eaves troughs, okay? I mean, that's enough
Yes.
already. All right. Had enough. Okay, that's it. Poor newfies. That's bad. I think that's a bad. I think it's. I don't know. Anyway, goodbye.
Bye.